In the early hours of October 2nd, 1941, the German High Command unleashed Operation Typhoon, the colossal drive aimed at seizing Moscow before the onset of the brutal Russian winter. The plan called for a pincer movement. The 3rd and 4th Panzer Armies would press down from the north toward Kalinin, while General Heinz Guderian's 2nd Panzer Army advanced from the south through Tula, with both thrusts set to converge on the Soviet capital. By mid-October, German spearhead had reached the hastily erected Mozhaisk defensive belt, some 100 kilometers west of Moscow. Despite the desperate fortitude of nearly 90,000 Soviet troops, the Wehrmacht tore open gaps at Mozhaisk and Maloy Yaroslavets on October 18th. On October 21st, German armored units under General Stuma captured the vital rail hub of Narofominsk. Stuma's 40th Panzer Corps thrust across the Moscow River north of Ruza, while the 10th Panzer Division supported by elements of the elite Das Reich Division, prepared to turn northwest toward the Kremlin. Yet it was not only Soviet firepower that brought the Germans to a halt. As the Rasputitsa, autumn's infamous mud season, set in, roads disintegrated into quagmires. At just 78 kilometers from Moscow, the 10th Panzer Division found its tanks and transport bogged down. Vehicles sank to their axles while anti-tank teams and motorcyclists scoured for refuge in nearby villages and forests. By late October, General Fischer reported that without sub-zero temperatures, to freeze the ground solid, further advance was impossible. To the south, the 78th Infantry Division punched a 30-kilometer breach along the Zvenigorod-Moscow Highway. Its 195th and 215th Regiments achieved a near-miraculous breakthrough, overrunning the fortified sector of Lokotnia, some 65 kilometers from the capital. Yet on October 29th, the arrival of the Soviet 50th Army and determined civilian volunteers stopped Guderian's tanks barely 4 kilometers from Tula, dashing German hopes of a swift southern route. As temperatures plunged below -30 degrees Celsius and the mud froze into ice, the so-called General Winter joined forces with Soviet resolve. On December 5, 1941, Marshal Timoshenko launched the first of several counterattacks from the Kalinin front. By December 6th, Soviet armies converged from Bryansk and Oryol. Within days, they had recaptured Solnekhnogorsk and Klin, forcing the 2nd Panzer Army to withdraw more than 40 kilometers from Kashira. Operation Typhoon ground to a halt in January 1942 as one of Hitler's greatest strategic failures. German losses reached approximately 174,000 killed, wounded, and missing, while Soviet casualties, including prisoners, exceeded 581,000. The debacle shattered the illusion of a swift victory in the east. Moscow survived, its streets and factories manned by soldiers, militia, and civilians, united in the fiercest defense of the modern era.